Unleash the power of purpose with impactful business voices, hosted by Nancy Backey and Anita Larson. Each week, you'll be inspired by stories from companies that are making a real difference in the world, and you'll learn practical tips on how to grow your business with an impact.
Hi, everyone. Thank you and welcome back. Thank you for listening to our Impactful Business Voices podcast. We are very excited because this is our first monthly business lounge episode. For those of you who've been following us, you know that every week we showcase business owners that make an impact with their business, make an impact on the world, on their clients. But the last week of the month, the last Tuesday of the month, we're going to be reserving for just Nancy and I to share business tips and strategies to help make an impact on your business and to help you grow. So again, we are your hosts. I'm Anita Larson.
And I'm Nancy Backey. Nice to see everybody again. So today we wanted to bring to your attention on a topic that many businesses often overlook. They underestimate it, or even just simply forget it. The importance of having a unique market dominating position. You'll hear throughout today. You know, we bring it out like MDP, or you may know it also as USP, or as a unique selling proposition. But basically, with our extensive experience working with different business owners and coaches worldwide, we found that it's a strategy that is amongst one of the most crucial and one of the most impactful when put out and when written well. It's not something that takes 5 minutes to write, but it basically helps you set your business apart from competition, and it establishes you as a distinctive brand identity.
And if I can jump in for a second, Nancy?
Yeah, go for it.
I agree with what you're saying. It makes such a difference. And it makes a difference that you're able to stand out, but also it helps amplify everything you do. It's going to make your marketing more effective. It's going to make it cheaper because you get more effect from your marketing efforts. You're just going to have a much larger reach. It just has such a huge impact on businesses.
Yeah, you're very right. And it makes a huge impact on almost everything that we do, whether we're networking, whether it's on our website or on LinkedIn, everywhere. Thanks, Anita, for bringing that point, and 100%. So what is it? Why is it important? So it is a statement that communicates what sets your business apart from your competition, to be able to attract the right customers that you're looking for and what they're looking for too. You know, you have to understand that it's on both ends. It's not just what you're looking for, it's also what they're looking for, right? In today's market, because it's the most competitive as ever. And, you know, I mean, we just had the pandemic, and look how many businesses opened up. I mean, how many business coaches decided to be business coaches next day? How many people decided to open a business without really having that experience? So we have to be able to differentiate ourselves. You know, we've got 20 years of that experience compared to somebody who just opened their doors yesterday. So what's really, really important is to be able to find as a business ways to differentiate, to continue growing your business the right way.
Yeah.
By having a strong one, we've seen businesses' revenues literally increase 50 to 75%. And, you know, Anita and I have actually literally seen double and triple even over the years. When it's done properly and spread out properly, that's how it works. It's not just by writing it, right? You have to actually write it and then bring it out to the world so that they know exactly what that message that you're trying to bring. So it does help you also increase your brand awareness, your customer loyalty, but also your revenue. You'll totally see it in your revenue once again used well. A lot of companies, and Anita, let me know what you think about this, but a lot of companies, when it comes to pricing, using discounts, you know, a lot of businesses, they think that's why people are buying from them, because they're
common.
Yeah. It's something that isn't ownable. It isn't unique. And, you know, if you want your customers to buy from you because you've got 20% off till midnight, then you're just really copying the competition. And trust me, the competition, it's not working for them either. They're just not telling you about it, right? We call it, it's a fast race to the bottom.
Yeah.
Um, we like to give you like a small example, like if you're a manufacturer and you own your own product line, that can be a reason why you want to compete on pricing, which I understand. But think about it. Are people actually buying from you because you're the cheapest? Or are they buying from you because you have the best quality service, you have good value, right? That's where we really, really want to look at.
And I think too, when you talk about the pricing and discounting, if you keep trying to undercut the competition with your pricing, they're going to keep trying to cut you. And that's what, like you said, it's a fast race to the bottom, and you're just killing each other's profitability. It's not beneficial for either of you in the long run.
Absolutely.
But let's take a look at some examples, just things you should not do when you consider creating your market dominating position. And then let's also give you some examples of well-known businesses that have done this. So an easy trap to fall into when you are going to start creating your position statement is using features of your products or services instead of benefits. So let me give you an example. Features of a car, as an example, you might have a car that's a four-wheel drive. The four-wheel drive is a feature of your car, but the benefit of the four-wheel drive is that now the driver feels safe and confident that while they're driving in any weather condition, they're going to be okay. That's the benefit. So yeah, the feature is there, but it's, you got to get more emotional. How do they feel about it? What's the actual benefit to the customer? How does it help them? So think of some of these statements as what you should not use to try to differentiate your business. Been in business for 30 years. We have a largest selection. We have the lowest prices. We specialize. And here's another one. We're licensed and insured. Well, any of these statements, if you could say, yeah, I would hope so, after the statement, then it's not a statement you should use as a differentiator. If I'm going to use somebody that I would expect that they would be licensed and insured to operate in the space they're in, right? So there's a whole slew of statements like this that you're going to see out there all the time. Just go to any website or local advertisement right now. You're going to see it somewhere today. We're the fastest, the largest, we're experts, we work harder, we have the best service, most convenient. So think of those statements as non-differentiators. That is not what you should use. And we know some of you have those out there now, and that's why we are here to help you hopefully come up with better ones. Some other common mistakes that people use when they try to develop their positioning: copying your competitor's USP. Obviously, that's not going to differentiate you, right? Now you have what the competitor has. And also not knowing your target audience. So you're not speaking to what your target audience needs, being too vague, and also not testing it, making sure your customers are responding well to what you're putting out there.
Anita, what about we give an incredible service? Like
I would
what?
expect, if you're in a business, I would expect good service. That's what I expect from anybody I hire or anybody I buy a product from. I
Mhm.
expect quality and I expect good service. If you're not providing that, then you shouldn't be in business. I know it sounds harsh, but I do believe that. Um, so let's look at the other side of the spectrum. Let's look at some companies we know and how they basically got started just by having a way of differentiating themselves. So let's talk pizza. I mean, that is a hugely competitive market. So if you think way back when Domino's Pizza got started, how did they differentiate themselves in the crowded pizza market, right? Well, they had a very specific target customer base: hungry college students. They built all their shops near colleges, and they offered pizza in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. I mean, what better message can you offer to a hungry college student? And obviously, that put them on the map. That's what they were known for so long.
Yeah, and Anita, a really good point is, if we don't even talk about pizza and we're just saying 30 minutes or less, your pizza's free. I mean, who doesn't know it's Domino's,
Right,
right?
exactly.
And did we really buy Domino's because the pizza was good?
Mm,
Not me, anyways. It
right,
wasn't. But we bought it because we needed that food in 30 minutes, right? It's
right.
meant for those rushed people. So, yeah, that was a great
Exactly.
example.
Actually, another example I have, and this is from somebody I spoke with way back. She actually gave me this example. I was explaining to her our concept of having a market dominating position, and they're an event marketing company in Las Vegas. And as she was processing, she's like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense because they were going to put on an event for a movie theater in Las Vegas. And they're like, how do we really make this stand out? Showing that this is the movie theater, that this is the venue that we need for this. And it turns out that movie theater was the only theater that had on site parking in downtown Las Vegas. I mean, that's a huge selling point, and they're the only ones that can say that. So again, that is a differentiator, right? And Nancy, I know that you have some examples too, so please share.
Yeah, actually, one of my favorites. I mean, we've got both of us have teenagers, but if my kid was 3, 4 years old and we were looking for a daycare, think of it. You got 10 daycares lined in your area, and there's one daycare that says, we guarantee your child's going to read at a second grade level before they enter kindergarten. I mean, seriously, which daycare are you going to send your child, or at least try to
Mm,
send them, right?
that's a
Uh,
non-brainer.
exactly. So it's that one sentence. They don't know who you are. Like, why do you want me to come to you? What is the problem I have? I mean, I may not have thought that my child would be reading a second grade level before entering it, but the fact that they told me that this is what's going to happen, I'm running to that daycare, right?
Yeah,
Um,
great.
but we wouldn't be who we are if we didn't really talk about businesses that made a huge impact in the world, such as Tom's Shoes. That's another really great example. For every pair of Tom's shoes purchased, a pair of new shoes is given to a child in need in partnership with humanitarian organizations. I mean, hello, save the children integrates shoe distribution into their larger health,
Yeah.
nutrition, and educational program. Some people buy the shoes just because they're giving a piece, giving another shoe to somebody who doesn't have one.
It makes them feel good.
Yeah. Um, that would be a really good company to get for our podcast, Anita.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, good
but
point.
they made their MDP to make an impact, and they also speak to their customers who want to make an impact as well. And that's really, really important. And
Mhm.
I really hope that makes sense. And you could just Google them. You'll find them. If you want to order a pair of shoes, just know that that is that message that you're going to get on their
Mhm.
website.
It's an amazing company, and I love how they structure the company around making an impact, and they made that how what makes them different. So
Yes. Yeah, I love it. So we do have a process that we do take our clients through, and we wanted to share it with you guys because we believe that, hey, if we could share it with you guys for you guys to go and make that impact, and if you need some help on that, you can definitely link up with Anita and I, and we can look to see what we could do to help you guys. Um, we're going to share with you the 6 steps that you need to be able to create your own market dominating position. So there are some steps in between that we do suggest that you do before the market dominating position, like your mission, your vision, your values. We will, Anita and I, have a future podcast where we're going to discuss that more in detail. But we highly suggest that you work on that way before your market dominating position. Um,
yeah, that's a key basically. I mean, you really need to have your mission, vision, and values in place so you know why are you in business, right? So we'll talk about that in a future podcast, like Nancy said. So mission, vision, value is key. You need to have that in place. And another critical component is your ideal customer profile.
mm,
You have to know who your customer is, and not only who they are, but you need to know their wants and needs. And we're going to talk about this also in more detail in upcoming podcasts, how to create that. But who are you targeting and what are their pain points? What are their problems? We suggest you start creating a list of all their pain points and problems that you can solve with your products and service.
Mm.
So, why are they coming to you? So, I mean, to give example, we can say for Nancy and I as business coaches, our customers' pain points and problems can be numerous, right? It could be they need to find a way to work on their work-life balance. That could be one. They need to grow their revenue. That could be one. They need to know how to prioritize and manage their tasks and time better. They need a strategy and how do they reach their goals. There could be so many pain points and problems. So for any of you, whether it's a product or service that you offer, start creating a list of what your business, with the solutions your business offers for your customers.
I wanted to add one, Anita. You
Yeah.
had a really nice list there, and you said revenue. You know what? Profit should be a good one on that list as well, because
Yes.
I mean, I've seen companies they're at 500,000 revenue, but their profit is like 30, 40, and they just don't know how to be able to increase that, how to
Yeah.
change it, things like that.
Definitely another podcast topic we need to put on the calendar. Talk about
Yeah.
profit versus revenue. Absolutely. So yeah, mission values, your ideal customer persona, and then the third step, competitive research.
Mm.
Research your top competitors to find out how are they positioning themselves. What do they say to make themselves stand out and be different? But you need to look at it from a user perspective. So what does your customers see when they go to your competitors? And in addition to looking at your competitors, you should also survey your customers and find out why are they your customers in the first place. Why did they make the decision to choose you over your competition? And why do they to continue to come back to you? What do
Mm.
you provide that makes them want to stay with you? So once you have all that information, once you've done your competitor research, once you've done your customer survey, sit down and ask yourself these questions. What advantages do you offer over your competition? So what do you currently do different, or what could you do different to what your competition is doing? And this is actually something important that we should have mentioned too, Nancy. Sometimes maybe you feel like your business don't have a differentiator, but you can innovate your way to a differentiator. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, sometimes you have to come up with another solution that will make you stand out. So think about what can you do if you're not already doing it. Then
I,
look at, yeah,
if
go
I
ahead.
can interrupt you, Anita,
Of course.
you know, we used to always hear think outside the box, and I heard this, and I can't remember from who. Pretend there is no box. Don't even think
Yeah.
inside the box. Pretend there's no
No
box.
limits.
And exactly, you know, and how can you be different? You know, go look at what they're doing.
Hmm. And as you do your research as well, what are their biggest weaknesses or shortcomings? What are they not doing well? And another huge element to bring into this is think about your industry as a whole. What is the biggest misconception about your industry?
Mm.
A lot of times, this can be a key to finding a great differentiator. And I'll give another example there. We can talk about, of course, talk about business coaching because that's what we know well. I think a few misconceptions about our industry, Nancy, and tell me if you feel differently. Some of the misconceptions is that okay, uh, business coaches only work on mindset, or our solutions are very cookie cutter. It's not gonna, or our solutions will only work for one specific industry, and none of those things are true in terms of what we do. So when you then look at the competition, are they addressing some of those misconceptions? And if they're not, then you probably should, right? Because those are things that your customers are thinking about your potential product and service. So if they think poorly of elements of your industry, make sure you address that up front. That could be a potential differentiator.
Yeah, actually, Anita, I wanted to just say you brought a really important point on business coaches, and I'll just talk about business coaches because that's what we do. You know, we've noticed over the last, like, call it 5 years, but especially during the pandemic, like I was saying
Mhm,
earlier, so many business coaches decided to become business coaches from whatever they were doing as a full-time
mhm,
job. And they're coming in and saying, yeah, we do marketing, we do this. and they're not specifically saying what they do different than the rest.
Right.
On our end, I decided to, if I can say, call it, scrap that word business coach. And now I'm a business growth strategist. I don't know. What are you, Anita? What is your
Business revenue strategist. So,
beautiful?
yeah, I think that is much more descriptive of what we do.
Exactly. So, market dominating position, yes, it has to do with your company, but if you need to do it also for, what you do specifically, do it. There's so much ways that you can
Mhm.
become creative with who you are and what you do as well.
Yeah. Okay, so back to your competitive research. So we talked about the biggest misconceptions about your industry. What are your competitors' weaknesses or shortcomings? And we probably should have said this at the beginning. You should probably get your pen and paper out. But if not, you can check the recording later on our YouTube channel, Impactful Business Voices. Because I'm sure you want to go back and take some of these notes in terms of the 6 steps that we're talking about. The last piece of this step is where is your biggest opportunity? So take a look at your customer surveys, take a look at your competitor research, and identify those gaps. Where are there opportunities that are currently not being addressed?
Yeah, so I think right here we'll just help them, maybe, draft certain statements, just
Mhm.
maybe help them
That's the
go there.
next
So
step. Start drafting.
yeah, exactly. So we suggest in the beginning, review your competitive research and identify those keywords and the key phrases that are really stating that competitive advantage that you may have over your competition. So, just, I mean, the way that we do with our clients, put it on a Google Drive and just really write exactly what it is, and then go and highlight those keywords. Start with that. Um, when you're starting to draft the statements, use that list of problem and solutions that you've created based on your ideal customer, right? So that first sentence should always be the problem, and the second sentence always have to be the solution to that problem,
Right.
right? And again, I know I said this before, but this is not something that's going to take 5 minutes. And don't give yourself 5 minutes or even one day. This is something that should take your time to do it. This is something that you're going to use for the rest of your business life. Yes, you
Mhm.
can change it, all that, but really put your serious time in there. And I like to give this one example of a child psychologist, psychiatrist. He's tired of the screaming, yelling, belligerent attitude of your child. So, by putting that sentence out, are you tired of screaming, yelling, and that attitude of your child? Come and get those secrets to gain control of your child in less than 60 seconds. I mean, literally, I mean, if I would have a screaming child, God forbid any of you guys do, I'd go
Mhm.
to my pastor, my
I think we
parents,
all do.
exactly, my parents, my friends with kids that age. And if I had no child and no choice, and I still have a screaming child, would I put my name and email to get this information? Yeah, for sure. And if I don't like it, guess what? I'm just going to unsubscribe. Right. So when you create yourself messages like this, you want to be able to put it in testing mode. Well, determine your best avenue to set to that test, to be able to test your new message. Go and share it with networking groups that you have. You have close friends that are business owners, share it with them. Social media messages, customer surveys, etc. There's so many different ways that you can test it. Don't think of it only by yourself, because you're thinking in your own little space. You want to hear other, if it's this type of situation, other parents that are having a problem with their screaming child. What are they going to pay attention to? What are they not going to be paying attention to?
And
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
think it's so important what you said, Nancy. When you have that statement as your customer's problem, you're tired of the screaming, the yelling, and the bad attitude of your child. You are speaking directly to what's going on in their brain right now, and you're speaking to them emotionally, and it's going to capture their attention, and that's what you want. And when you create a differentiation statement, and then
Yeah.
you want to follow that up with a quick solution, and really in any messaging, but especially when you talk about your differentiator, how are you different? And so when you draft your initial statements, draft several, and then you test, like you said, then you start your testing, and you test what you think are your best ones. Because I think we all know this from being in business for a while. You know, what you think and what your customer thinks is rarely the same. You know, we have our own interpretation of what we do and what our business does, but your customers are rarely going to see it the exact same way you are. So you always got to get their opinion.
Yeah, that was a really great ad, Anita. Thank you. And you know, you really want to sit down, and if you have a team, sit down with your team, you know, and sit down.
Mhm.
Maybe you have like three or
Absolutely.
four top customers that, you know, sit down with them. They love you. They'll help you. They always buy from you, right? So
Your
you
sales
really,
team, your customer service reps, anybody that speaks to your customers all the time, a huge help.
absolutely. So you want to be able to determine how to implement this in your business and how are you going to use it to get the most impact from it, right? Is it the physical location? Is it the marketing material? Different things like that. Like, where are you getting that impact
Mhm.
from?
Yeah. So I love that. You got to figure out how are you gonna present it when you implement it? How is this gonna work in your business? Of course, train your sales force on it. They need to know what your differentiators are.
Mhm.
So that's I mean, those are basically our 6 steps. Um, Now, some final reminders just to kind of recap what we talked about. Make sure your market dominating position is memorable, it's unique, it addresses your client's pain points, and it truly makes you stand out in your industry and in your marketplace. Use it consistently. This is not one of those, let's create it and then we'll put it over here in the closet. No, you got to create it and then you got to use it on a consistent basis. Like Nancy said, in your marketing material, training your sales force on it. You have to live your market dominating position. Everybody in your company needs to know what that is and make sure your customers know it.
And you could use it, your customer service person that can, every
Mhm.
time that they pick up the phone, that could be that first sentence that they say. You know, and marketing, I mean, business cards, you know, business cards are starting to become old school now. A lot of people are not even printing business cards. I mean, one of my partners, she does digital business cards, saves money, saves trees,
Yeah.
and you just have to have that one sentence. But at least if you're gonna spend money on a business card, don't just stick your name and email.
Yeah.
Put that one sentence on there, something that at least they're gonna say, oh, maybe it's actually worth keeping.
Yeah. And I mean, your positioning is only as strong as your ability to deliver it on it. So say it, put it out there, but you also have to live it in your business. You have to live up to what you're promising.
Yes. Anita, I think we had an awesome first show. Thank you for all the viewers, guys. Like Anita mentioned, you can find a copy of this recording on our YouTube channel, Impactful Business Voices. Don't miss out on our future episodes. And we just ask you to support us. Click the subscribe button on YouTube. If you're here, you're already definitely liking us on LinkedIn. And if not, please go and like us up there and follow us. And every time there is a new episode, we put it out a few days before. We're trying to get it out a week or two before, but it's coming. Don't miss our podcast next week. We are going to be speaking with Bruce Lumley, a personal client, friend of mine. He's a hypnotist. He does a little bit of NLP, and he's known as the Thoughtsmith. Um,
Very excited for that.
yeah, I'm so excited with him too because, you know, he used to be in radio and newspaper back in the day 20 years ago, and now he just started to get online. So I'm really excited for him. He's helping people quit smoking, lose weight permanently, and basically help you make almost any change you truly want for your future. Guys, thank you again for being here. Until next week, go make an impact. Thank you for listening to Impactful Business Voices. Subscribe now and don't miss an episode.